Hey everyone, this is Chrono once again with another Monster Hunter video. So in today's video, I want to be talking about the two monsters that's been revealed during the recently uploaded Developer's Diary by Capcom. So during the Developer's Diary, Capcom focused a lot on the game balances as well as the facilities changes, as well as some of the new mechanics that's going to be coming up in Monster Hunter World Iceborne. And alongside this, they introduced us to the 5 monsters that we can expect from Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Now, 3 of these are monsters that we're all familiar with already, so Brachydios, Acidic Lavinus, and Volcana. However, there is 2 of them which have been introduced brand new to Monster Hunter World Iceborne. One of them is the veteran monster Brachydios, and the other one is a brand new monster that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later on. So let's start with Brachydios first. Now, Brachydios is the returning monster for Monster Hunter World Iceborne that is originally the flagship of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Now, Brachydios is a unique brute wyvern in that, in comparison to most brute wyverns, Brachydios actually has developed arms and has 2 large fists. Now, Brachydios fights very differently to most brute wyverns as well. So in comparison to most brute wyverns, Brachydios actually fights less of a brute wyvern and more of a human boxer mixed with the standard brute wyvern attacks. So most of its attacks focuses on swerving left and right, delivering swift punches into the player. So one of the main things about Brachydios as well, alongside the fact that it fights more like a boxer, is the fact that it has a slime effect. Now, the slime that Brachydios generates is basically the originator of the Blast Blight effect, meaning that Blast Blight used to be these slimes specifically, and that now that it's coming back into Monster Hunter World Iceborne, we can expect more of the Blast Blight effect from Brachydios itself. Now, Brachydios, in terms of the slime, has 2 ways that it uses it. The first way that it uses it is the standard way that most monsters produce Blast Blight, so it'll attack the players and apply it as a debuff, and over time that Blast Blight will eventually grow until it explodes. So that's one of the main ways that the Brachydios uses the slime against the players. The other way that it uses slime is very unique in that it actually applies it onto the floor or any surface that it can come into contact with, and then uses it as an environmental trap. So the slime itself will be applied onto the floor, and over time that slime will explode, causing damage to anyone who is unaware of that particular explosion. Now, one of the key changes that's been made with the slime itself is the properties that it has. So in previous games, for the most part, the slime itself, when it's applied to any surface, it just sticks onto the floor, and if you go over it, for example, it won't interact with you until it explodes. So the explosion is the main interaction between player and the environmental effect of the slime. Now, with the Iceborne version of Brachydios, this has been changed slightly. So there's 2 forms of the slime itself. The first form is the standard form that we're all aware of if we're veteran players playing the Brachydios in the past. So it just puts it on the floor, and then you have to wait for it to explode, so you can walk over it and it won't interact with you unless it explodes. The other one is the sticky slime effect. The sticky slime is different in that the sticky slime itself, if you walk over it, you will get effectively stuck in that slime until you can get out of it. So think of it in the same way as the mud that both Barroth and Euratodas have. So if you get into that sticky slime, you'll get stuck into it, and eventually that slime will explode, and you will take damage if you don't get out of it really quickly. So that's one of the key changes that's been made into Brachydios' slime in order to make it more deadly once it comes into Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Now, the other main change that's been done with Brachydios itself is in regard to its attacks. Capcom have pretty much stated that there's going to be new attacks for Brachydios once it comes into Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and depending on the attack that Brachydios uses, the time it takes for the Blast Blight to explode will vary. So some attacks, the Blast Blight will basically explode really quickly. On other times, it may take some time for the explosion to occur, giving you an opportunity to remove the Blast Blight. So depending on the situation, the Blast Blight that it applies onto you, if you get hit by Brachydios' fist, will vary. Now, moving on from Brachydios, the next monster that Capcom revealed is the new monster called Namielle. Now, Namielle is the newest monster in the Iceborne series, and it's a water-based Elder Dragon. Capcom didn't really reveal much in regards to Namielle. They just quickly went over some of the key details, such as the fact that it's an Elder Dragon and the fact that Namielle uses the water element. Now, in terms of aesthetics, I'm really digging how Namielle looks as of right now. Now, the main thing about Namielle in terms of its aesthetics is that it has these really unique bioluminescent lights that glow around its body. So they're kind of like neon lights that travel around certain parts of its appendages. So like the tentacle-like beard that it has around its chin, the neon lights traveling around its neck and across the appendages on its wings. So that's a really unique feature to the way Namielle looks. Now, the other thing about Namielle in terms of its aesthetics is it doesn't actually feel like an Elder Dragon, at least for me. For me personally, Namielle feels less like an Elder Dragon and actually more like a Leviathan. Now, we all know that Leviathans are monsters that are not going to be present in Monster Hunter World and Iceborne at this stage. So for the most part, we don't really expect to see them in any way, shape or form unless Capcom does a post-launch kind of thing for the Leviathans. We don't know that yet. For the most part, I doubt it would happen, but you never know. However, having said that, Namielle kind of feels like this compromise that they made in order to give us something of a pseudo-Leviathan into Monster Hunter World Iceborne. So, despite the fact that Namielle is not a Leviathan in and of itself, the aesthetics that it has really gives it a Leviathan vibe, and the fact that it is a water-based Elder Dragon really kind of gives you the idea that Capcom was going for an aquatic-based monster without having to really introduce the Leviathans into the series. Now that is pretty much it for me today in regards to this video. I just really wanted to go through the two monsters that Capcom revealed during the developer's diary, especially with the new monster Namielle. Now Namielle is really unique, especially when it comes to its aesthetics. I cannot wait to see what this monster is capable of when it comes to Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and of course, with new monsters also means new equipments. So in regards to the equipment that Namielle will be bringing into Monster Hunter World Iceborne, I cannot wait to see what they look like as well. Now, in my previous statement, I stated that Namielle's unique feature is those unique neon light glows that it has around its body. I'm questioning as of right now whether this is going to be a thing on its weapons as well as its armor. So, really looking forward to seeing how that is going to be applied into Namielle's equipment, if they do it at all. That is pretty much it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.